Butthole town. What goes up and around the corner. Butthole town. Well, we gotta get out of a butthole town.
So, what do you call a college teacher that only talks about almonds?
I don't know. What is it?
A nutty professor.
Oh!
Starting off strong, boys.
Yeah, that's strong, dude. That is strong. Guys, welcome to episode 20 of the Butthole Town Podcast. Ooh, I'm Ben Sheffield, your main host, along with Joel Knowles.
No. No, I'm saying no to I'm not a host. I've given up my position. I've resigned.
I'm just a guy here. I'm no host.
I'm no host. I'm just a man.
Dude, I can't believe we made it to 20 episodes, guys.
I know. I figured with a name like Butthole Town, we'd get shut down by now.
I think my parents have been trying to shut me down. Like, you need to stop doing a podcast with this name. It's ridiculous. I had a guy coming to me tonight. He's like, have you guys got any, like... He's like, you've gotten some, like, you know, bad, like, press about your name. I was like, well, no, not really.
We don't have any press about our name. We're not famous.
Not press, but, like, people, like, commenting bad stuff. But, like, really, no, we haven't really got anything negative, at least.
No, nobody's ever said anything about the name, really.
Yeah, I mean, like, people
other than your parents, but, like...
People are relatively supportive of it. I mean, I think they get it once you listen to the podcast and you realize, like, oh, this is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's the theme, sort of.
Yeah. But I'm just proud we made it this far. It's been a long time coming, and
It's been a doozy.
I hope that we can make it. I say we make it to 100 episodes, then quit and make a real podcast. Because by 100 episodes, we'll know how to make it. By 100 episodes, we'll know how to make an actual podcast.
Yeah, there you go.
So then we'll switch to like an actual real name, and we'll just do like a regular podcast. But this is like a nice this is us with our training wheels on kind of thing.
Well, this is a pretty normal podcast. Format-wise, I guess.
Right. Yeah. I think we're just learning how to get better on air, and so by our 100th episode, we'll be like pro. You know what I mean?
True.
Yeah. So then we'll be like, okay, we'll start the Ben and Joel Show podcast, and it's like legit, and your parents can listen to it.
Yeah, there you go.
But this is like our dirty punk underground like scene, like we're just coming up.
Yeah, because this is such a bad podcast and so
it's just
heinous.
It's just the name. It's just the name.
It's just the name. That's literally it. It's just the name. But
it's one of those things where we started it, and it's like at this point, it's like we can't turn back now. It's too far in. We
just got to dig the hole deeper.
Yeah, we're too far.
Get it.
Oh no, yeah, we're too far gone now to try to change it, because then it's like, oh, what happened to Butthole Town? Oh, you guys are two babies to keep your name at Butthole Town, huh?
Yeah.
Okay.
We can't back out. It would be a sign of weakness.
Yeah, and we're not weak. You know, actually, a sign of weakness is smiling, and I hope you know the whole time we're recording this podcast, neither one of us smiles.
Not even when we laugh, we don't smile.
When I laugh like this, I'm just straight up, you know, deadpan, dead, straight delivery.
You're dead. You're literally dead right now.
I feel like I'm dying right now, yes.
We're all dying. Some of us are just dying faster than others.
What if you were dying, like, really quickly, like, for an hour, and then you stop, and it's like, whoa, I feel like I just, like, died a lot right then. Do you ever think about that? Like, maybe you just, you know, everybody's dying, but, like, what if you just, some hours are just, like, it speeds up a little bit.
Up.
Yeah.
Well, I guess maybe, like, when somebody scares you half to death, is that when it's...
Or maybe after you eat, like, a Big Mac or something, it just speeds up a little bit. It's like, whoa. Oh.
That would be weird if you had a monitor like your gas gauge. It's like it all of a sudden drops like a quarter of a tank. It's like, oh crap, I better not do that again.
Or it's just like the hours left on your life and it gets down to like 3 and it's like, whoa, okay. I'm good. Sorry.
Then you eat an apple and it goes up like 10 hours.
Yeah. What was that?
That'd be weird.
What was that Justin Timberlake movie where they're like measured by time? You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah, it's kind of that kind of thing, except it's just like, oh, we're running out. Like, I'll trade you 3 hours for, you know, $500. Yeah.
That's pretty good. That's 175 an hour or something.
I would just trade life to people, yeah. To old people that are, like, about to kick it, but they want to live a little bit longer, I'd be like, oh, well, $300, and I'll give you 2 of my hours, dude. That would be a weird life to live.
Yeah.
Time is too trippy. I don't even like to think about time because I don't even want to go down that rabbit hole because it just like depresses me and makes my stomach feel all weird. I don't even want to think about time.
Almost as much as when you eat a Big Mac.
Yeah, it's just like if I'm thinking about time and I'm eating a Big Mac at the same time, I'm just like,
Oh, you're screwed. You're screwed.
So, somebody came up to me, or somebody had mentioned this to me the other day, and I thought it was just super interesting, and I figured I'd talk about it on the podcast.
All right, that's what we do here. We talk about things.
We just talk about things, yeah. So somebody was saying, because this girl, my girlfriend's sister, actually, they're buying a new house, or they're buying a lot to put a house on, and we were talking about the houses. We were talking about the houses in the area. They also live relatively close to Butthole Town, about an hour away from our hometown. And we were thinking, it's like, none of these houses have basements. They all have garages. And I was thinking back to when I was younger and, spent the night at friends' houses and stuff like that. And it's like, wait a second. There are literally no houses in southern towns, or at least in southern Georgia or middle Georgia, that have basements.
Yeah, not that I know of.
And it's like, why? Is it a thing of like the level of the land, or like why do these houses in like the north have basements and we just have like some of us have car garages, and that's it. That's the extent of it.
Okay, first of all, what other kind of garages are there?
Sorry,
We have them there car garages.
We have our watermelon garages. We just keep our watermelons in.
In our town, that would not be so far-fetched.
Baby, get me a drink out of the watermelon garage.
All we got in there is watermelons.
That would be actually a nice little punk band name, I think. The Watermelon Garage. Guys, come listen to the Watermelon Garage. We'll be out at Social Club this weekend. Yeah. No, I sorry I was being very specific with car garage, but it made me think, why are we not building underneath? And maybe it's just because we don't have a lot of storms for us to go underneath our houses to protect ourselves. I don't know.
Well, I don't know. I was going to say it's because we get a lot of, like, rain, but we don't get a lot of rain.
I mean, yeah, people in the north get just the same amount of rain or more.
Yeah.
With snow and
stuff. Our dirt's not that hard most places. I mean, we have a lot of clay and stuff, but you can dig through that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe maybe a high water table. Like, you dig down, you're going to hit the water table before you can build a basement. I don't know.
Okay. Yeah.
That'd be the only thing I could think of, but water tables all over the place depending on where you live. So I
wonder if just architects in Georgia just like, they never learned that part in school. They were like, what? There's a room underneath the house?
We're trying to build up and you want us to go down too? We can't go two directions at once.
We can only go upwards. We don't really go downwards. That didn't really make a whole lot of sense to us. So, yeah. No,
we're not trying to build caves. We're building houses.
Well, don't a lot of people use basements as, like, storm shelters?
Yeah, when there's tornadoes and stuff. Yeah.
But then, like, when we were growing up, all they ever talk about is, like, go in the bathroom and get in the tub.
Well, that's because we all live in trailers, and who's going to have a basement in a trailer?
What? Maybe the trailers just have basements, and it's just like a hole dug under your trailer.
It's literally that's all it is. It's like, honey, have you worked on the basement? Well, yeah, but the shovel broke, and it's only about a foot deep right now. I'll get to it sometime next year.
Only 2 of us can fit at a time in the basement, honey.
We have to lay down flat, but
a redneck basement it is. Yeah. Yeah, I just thought it was an interesting concept. And if any of you guys out there are living in a southern Georgia town,
if there's anybody out there living in a basement,
and you like help, please contact buttholetown@gmail.com. We'll get you out of there. No, but
we'll
seriously,
find a tornado to come by and make it worthwhile.
Seriously, if you're trapped in a basement and you're listening to this podcast, hello, first off. Second, if you need any help, please contact us or contact the police. Actually, don't contact us first before you contact the police. That would be kind of dumb because we wouldn't know what to do.
We would just be like, okay.
Especially if you don't send an address. You're just like, I'm stuck in a basement. And we're just both like, all right, well, That sucks.
At least you have internet.
Yeah, obviously you've got some good internet to stream this podcast. No,
I do know one person that had a basement.
Okay.
But
Really?
they never used it. They were like, "Well, yeah, we don't use the basement." I was just like, "Okay."
I got
Like, who has a basement and doesn't use it at all?
I got a feeling basements are really just junk rooms. So it's really just a place to put all your junk in.
Yeah.
So
If you actually have one, I guess.
and maybe it's a good thing that us Southern people don't have basements because it would just be another place that we could store crap we don't need. Yeah. And as we've seen on our Butthole Town for Sale or Wanted bits, a basement might just be a negative thing to keep all of our just stuff that we should probably stuff we should probably get rid of. I wonder this also. This is another point. Are Southern people more prone to hoard or to be junky? Compared to Northern people?
I think we're externally junky. I think typically, like, you get used to seeing people's nasty yards in the South.
Right. Yeah. I think that I agree. I think that Southern people are more likely to put stuff in the front yard than in the house.
Yeah.
And then Northern people have like maybe a nice yard and just like a disgusting house.
Yeah, but the basement's clean because they got to have that for the storm shelter.
Yeah, the basement's clean because they're like, people in the South don't have these. We're gonna keep this clean and nice, and we're gonna
do it out of respect for the Southerners that don't have these.
They don't have. I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the elevation of the land or something.
I don't think that has anything to do with it.
I don't know.
Not the elevators. I don't know. Okay, let's go on to something else.
But last point though, I think the architecture of houses in the North are just different than the architecture of houses in the South. I think they just look different. I mean, if you go up north and you look at these houses that are really close together, it's nothing like the houses that are down here.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So I think that, when the Civil War happened, two architects went different ways, and houses just look different in those places. But going from this discussion of houses from Butthole Town, and because it's our 20th episode, people, me and Joel are gonna,
special 20th episode.
Yeah, me and Joel are going to do some top 20 countdowns. And what's the first 20 countdown we want to do, Joel?
Let's do the first. We're doing 10 things that are good about Butthole Town and 10 things that are bad. So a top 20 good and bad list.
Right. So 10 of the best things about living in a butthole town and 10 things that, kind of stink about living in a butthole town. So let's do you want to be positive first and do the best things?
I was going to say we could alternate back and forth.
Okay, so one good thing and one bad thing.
Yeah. So like you'll do a good thing, I'll do a good thing, you'll do a bad thing, I'll do a bad thing.
Okay. So I'll start with a good thing. One good thing about living in a butthole town in a small southern town is the traffic. I know from moving to a relatively bigger city, traffic is so much more annoying now than when I was just in my small town.
I can definitely speak to that. Living in Atlanta. My gosh.
You even more can speak to that, but it's just like there's a certain time it hits during the day where it's like can't even.
Yeah, anytime from about 6 o'clock in the morning to about 10 o'clock at night. That's pretty much when there's traffic in Atlanta.
Just all day long.
When people are awake, there's traffic.
Yeah. And then when you're in a small town, it's like the only time there's traffic is when work and school let out.
And even then, it's like...
Yeah, it's relatively...
2 red lights, and you're out of it. Or if there's a funeral, because... There's super long funeral lines, and everybody pulls off the side of the road for funerals.
That's also a nice butthole town thing, is that people pull off the side of the road for funeral processions.
Do people do that in other places?
No, that's not a thing in big cities. I know for a fact.
Well, you don't have room in big cities, but
yeah, you can't do it in a big city. I don't know if that's a thing. Like, I know it's in Georgia. I've seen. I don't know if it's in a lot of other southern states. Is when a funeral procession comes, the cars pull off to the side of the road.
I don't know.
In respect, but that's just a little thing. Anyways,
this is what we do.
Next thing, Joel.
Okay, so my good thing is the food is always good home cooking.
Oh, I thought we were doing good thing, bad thing.
No, like you do a good thing, I do a good thing, you do a bad thing, I do a bad thing.
Sorry, okay, I'm confused. Okay, now I get it. Best thing, you said it was food? Yes, I agree.
Yes, the home cooking.
Yes, dude. fried.
So good.
I mean, obviously it's gonna be fried, but come on now.
Or grilled, but barbecued, you know.
Some things are grilled. We'll say, but the chicken's gonna be fried, boy, and fish and everything like that, and it's good. No, I mean the food is so much better, and not that I've had a lot of northern food. I guess
even not just but like the way people cook in big cities is just different.
Right. It's more about health.
Yeah, but who cares about health when you're living in a butthole town?
Yeah, we don't care about health here. We care about living a good time as long as we're here.
Yeah, right.
And you might as well just eat what you want to while you're here, because you're not going to be here forever.
Or long, for that matter.
So do you want me to do another good thing now, or go to
now you do a bad thing.
Switch to bad thing. Okay, now I'm getting it. Okay. Switch to a bad thing. A bad thing about living in a big city is...
You mean a butthole town?
In a butthole town. Sorry, guys.
Watch your language.
Wait, a big city or butthole? What?
Yes.
Yes, I agree. All right, so a bad thing about living in a butthole town is there's less options for everything. And now that I've moved into a bigger place now, it's like, wow, I can eat any kind of fast food I want. But if I'm back home, it's like, oh, you want a burger? Well, you got McDonald's and Dairy Queen. You want Mexican? You have 2 places. You want pizza? You got
Pizza Hut.
1 or 2 places to go to. It's just like you only got 1 or 2 places, and now here it's like, oh, you got like 10 each, easy. That are like close
an
to
indie
you.
Underground Thai restaurant that's strictly organic? Well, we've got 6 of those in a 2-block radius.
You want some Indian cuisine that'll deliver to your house? What's right over? It's across the.
You want some ramen and with a side of fries? Then we got a place for that too.
Yeah, it's awesome, and that's a funny point that you just made. I really want to say this really quick. Our hometown, and I haven't made this a part of a podcast. I'm going to try to make this quick, but our hometown for a little bit had a restaurant that served Japanese food and like wings out of the same place, and they called themselves like Wing Cafe or something. But it was like hibachi Japanese and then like wings and like fried shrimp. It was weird, dude.
Well, even weirder than that, they had like club sandwiches and stuff like that. Like wings and Japanese, I found there's a lot of those places up here for whatever reason.
Really?
But,
Okay.
But as far as like the rest of the cuisine, it was literally like everything. They had wings, they had fried fish,
sandwiches, Philly cheesesteak, yeah.
Philly cheesesteaks, hibachi Japanese.
They just weren't sure about what they were trying to sell to people. They were like, do we want to be a Japanese restaurant or no?
I guess there's no real need to have a variety of places to eat when one place has everything.
Yeah, I guess our town had everything in one. We didn't need all those other options because we could get a club sandwich or we could get, some hibachi shrimp. So
exactly. Or a side of hibachi shrimp with a club sandwich.
or milk, and then wrap it up with a milkshake because America. Next, your bad thing.
My next bad thing was also there's nowhere to eat out much.
Okay.
But I have some alternatives in case we did have some of the same stuff.
A similar thing.
So the summers are so stupid hot and humid. You cannot breathe.
Yeah. I was about to say more than being hot, it's just humid. It's this like life-sucking hot where you just can't like physically do anything outside and you just have to go back inside.
The way I've heard it best described is it feels like you're wearing a coat made out of water when you step out the door.
It's literally like, it's very similar, and I've been in a sauna one time and it's very similar. It's just like you don't need a sauna down south. You just go outside for a little bit, go back inside, It feels like you're drowning in air. And your own sweat.
Yeah, that too.
You can bring your towel outside, just wrap it around, maybe surround yourself with a few old guys, and you will feel like you're in a sauna, back home.
Can you just imagine a bunch of old dudes walking around the town in towels? Oh, it's a sauna.
Yeah, it's just July. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's just normal here. Yeah.
It's like, is there a group of monks in this town? Nah,
it's just pretty hot outside. All right.
It's just the nursing home. They let them out early today.
Yeah, the nursing home, we can't afford to put in a sauna, so we just let the elderly people come outside and get their sweat on for a little bit. Another good thing about living in a butthole town. Don't get confused here. This is another best thing. Is that you're close to everything. You're in this big city. It'll take you a while to get somewhere, but when you're back home and you have to go somewhere, the extent of your drive is going to be maybe 10, 15 minutes, maybe
15 minutes tops for sure.
Yeah,
you can go from one
tops.
side of the town to the other in 15 minutes or less.
And that's so nice because now when I'm in a bigger place, it's like, oh, I really want this restaurant, but I'm not going to drive 30 minutes to get there.
Right.
Yeah, but
I will say this though, and this is kind of a bad thing that's not on the list, but it also makes the thing where if it's not delivered in 30 minutes or less, completely non-existent. Because, those pizza places, if you get in 30 minutes or less, or more than 30 minutes, it's free.
You mean like in our town?
Never is going to happen.
Yeah, because it's so small. Yeah. If it does happen, then, that restaurant blows. Yeah.
Really bad, yeah.
The delivery kid got distracted and, saw a few old guys walking down the street in towels and was just like, what is going on? I forgot the pizza. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah. So your next best thing.
So my best thing is everyone knows you, and for the most part, everyone's friendly because, everybody knows everybody.
Yeah, and that's a good thing because you develop a lot of relationships that you can rely on later down in life.
Right.
Because everybody's going to go in different directions. Some people are going to stay, some people aren't, and they're going to go into different fields. And if you need this, you might know a doctor or you might know whatever.
I thought you meant literal fields because there's a lot of that too.
They might go into a cotton field or,
or a peanut field, maybe soybeans. Definitely going to do those watermelon for the basements in the summertime.
So whichever field you're not in, your friend may be in, and you can rely on them to give you the vegetable or supply that you need.
That's a very literal joke.
Yeah, it's maybe a little too literal. But I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll be here all night. Next thing for me. Now we're switching to worse things about Butthole Town.
How long is it going to take you to get this?
I got it. I just said next is worst. I just feel like it's kind of confusing because we're going best to worst, and I just forget. Sorry. All right. Another thing.
I think you're underestimating our audience.
Oh, sorry, guys. I'm so sorry to all those townies out there that are more mentally developed than me. But now I'm going to another bad thing about living in a butthole town. And to hop off of what Joel just said, I would say a bad thing about living in a butthole town is knowing everybody. And everybody knowing you.
Exactly, yeah.
It can be a little sketchy when everybody knows your business or everybody else, and sometimes you want to be a little discreet about things or to be alone.
Right. Well,
you can't really do that.
No, people know everything about you, whether it be good or it be bad.
Right.
Everybody knows everything. And
it becomes a little difficult to develop relationships sort of in that environment because, especially as a guy and you want to impress a female and they know your entire past, it's not easy, especially if you dated one of their friends or if you haven't dated anyone or whatever it is. They know already going into it, so it becomes a little not cool. Yeah.
Right. Well, to hop off your point, my next bad thing is there's such a limited dating selection in a small town.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure.
Because it's like
half of them are kin to you. They're all your cousins.
Well, yeah, that too. So it's like between your cousins and then your age range, you're very limited about maybe 15, 20 girls or guys if you're a female.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure, and most of those, especially as a Christian guy, you're just going off your youth group, which is like 4 people.
Yeah. And then everything that they do on the weekends, so you're limited to none at that point, and you spend the rest of your life single.
Oh, those church youth groups, they get a little dicey. Another great thing about living in a butthole town is I said relationships, and this is kind of coming off the same thing. Relationships seem a little bit more lifelong, and I guess this is sort of similar to what you said. But I would say that when you're in a small town and you've been, at least me, I've went to kindergarten with the same people I graduated with. I feel like these relationships are going to last a little bit longer than maybe just somebody I met in like 10th grade or something like that. You know what I mean?
Right. And the other thing is, too, is like because our schools are so small,
right?
You end up having classes with the same people a lot, whereas classes up around like in Atlanta and stuff, you may never have class with that same person again.
Right, yeah. And especially
classes are so big.
Especially me, and I was in like, I was a little smart kid. So I was in some gifted classes. But anyways, because I was in gifted or accelerated stuff,
it was special classes.
I was in special classes in school. The same people that I went to class with in like second grade were the same people I went to class with senior year because, you know, the gifted kids stayed the same the whole time.
Right.
And so it was like the same 12 kids I was with, you know, my whole life. And I don't know, and maybe I haven't talked to a lot of these kids still, but there's still like a sense of like, I know them super well.
Camaraderie.
Yeah, there's a sense of camaraderie there that I don't think would be there otherwise.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. My next good thing is that it's a much more laid back vibe as a whole.
Yeah, there's I would say there's not a lot of stress to become a certain thing in a small town.
No, and it's like, well, I think part of the reason for that is there's limited things to what you could become in a small town.
Right.
Like you can either work in fast food at a restaurant or on a farm, and that's about it.
Yeah, I guess so, but there's also a sense of like you could be anything if once you leave here.
That's true too.
You know, because we don't know anything about the outside, about these big cities.
We don't
what
know
is
about
possible.
the outside world.
Yeah.
We're stuck in our 1 foot deep basements.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like we don't, when you're in a small town, you don't really know what's possible outside of your town. And so it's just like the whole wide world is just open to opportunity for you.
Yeah, that's true. But I like the fact that it's just like, you never feel like you're in a rush in a small town.
No.
Never.
No. Especially on a Sunday. It's just like everything moves in like 2 miles per hour.
Well, half of everything's closed.
Yeah, well, not the places that are open for lunch after church, you know. Those places
Of course.
pumping. But yeah, now I'm switching to bad things. A bad thing about living in a butthole town is you have to drive an hour to get anywhere somewhat cool.
Yeah.
I wrote this down because from where we are to get to a mall or anything that's cool shopping-wise, you have to drive an hour.
Well,
if you
30 minutes-ish.
Yeah, I'm talking about a good mall, though.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good mall, yeah.
A good mall, you have to drive about an hour. A good bowling alley, you probably have to drive close to an hour. A good, like, you know, every little, like, amusement thing, you'd probably have to drive an hour. Because in our small town, to do anything with your friends, your only options are Walmart and movie theater. So beyond that, you would have to drive a ways to get anywhere. Neither one of me and Joel are, like, big drinkers or anything. But if you wanted to go to a bar, yeah, you'd have to drive a good bit.
Yeah. I mean, our county was a dry county until like 3 years ago.
Right, but we don't have a bar. We have Mexican restaurants that have bars inside of them.
That's the closest thing we have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my next bad thing was basically the same thing. It was just like there's nothing to do in our town.
No, there's just, I mean, you have to make your own fun, which can result in some bad things.
Yeah.
It doesn't always result positively when people get super bored.
Yeah, you cuss on a Saturday and pray on a Sunday.
Got that right.
Jeez. That's a country lyric.
Really?
Yeah.
Cuss on a Saturday. Wait, is it Saturday or Sunday?
No, it's cuss on a Saturday, pray
Cuss
on
on a
Sunday.
Saturday, pray on a Sunday, work on Monday, work on Tuesday, work on Wednesday, work. Just do the rest of the week.
On Thursday,
You do the rest of the week.
on Friday.
Cuss on Saturday, go to church on
Pray
Sunday.
on Sunday.
Yeah,
It's just
and
that
then
same thing on
it
loop
just
for 52
repeats.
times
Yeah.
for the whole year.
You work the whole week until Friday, and then you do a few things, and then you go back to work. Another great thing about living in a butthole town is I feel like you develop a better appreciation for things when you live in a small town like we do. There's like once you go to somewhere like Atlanta and you see, you see all these awesome restaurants and you see these awesome places that you can go. It's like, man, this is awesome. But to people in Atlanta, it's just like, yeah, whatever. Like, it's just another restaurant. But to us, it's just like, we develop a better appreciation for these things that are like, more basic things to everyone else, I feel like.
Right, yeah, I can see that for sure.
Yeah. And I still do. I still like, I'm like freaking out that like, man, this restaurant's so close to my work or so close to my house.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
The same way. It's like I can literally go to any restaurant right now and it's only 5 minutes from me.
Yeah, it's like 9 o'clock, and if I want to eat supper, I can get it and be back at 9:05. It's just like, wow, it's crazy.
Awesome.
Because, if we wanted to go get dinner at our place, we have to drive, at least 10 minutes probably to get to town.
Yeah.
Which is just, now it's like driving 10 minutes away from your place. It's like, geez, that's so far. I have to go.
Just for food? Seriously?
Yeah, 10 minutes? Come on now. But yeah, that's my I think it's my last great thing, I think.
Yeah, that was your last great thing.
Okay.
My last great thing is you can hunt, fish, and shoot guns pretty much wherever.
In your neighbor's backyard, in your own backyard.
In the Walmart parking lot, nobody cares.
It's true. It's true.
That's true. I mean, I guess if you don't like hunting or whatever, to each his own. But right. I'm not a redneck type person, but I do enjoy hunting and fishing a lot.
Yeah.
And just the ability to be able to do that, and not have to worry about, deadly consequences of being too close to your neighbor's house and shooting a gun or something. Like, you don't have that issue because you're not that close to anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
I agree. My next bad thing about living in a butthole town is no one ever knows where you're from and you have to relate yourself to a bigger town. This
is true.
This is like
my gosh.
This is like my thing for my whole life. When somebody asks me like where I'm from, I'm like, oh, I'm an hour south of whatever big city it is. Yeah,
I'm an hour east of so and so. Yeah,
it's like, oh yeah, I know where that is, because they have no idea where your town is from.
They know. You have to tell them based off of the interstate how far you are off the interstate. That's the only way they know where
it's
you're
like
remotely
go past so and so for about 20 miles and take the exit. And
TK's at 12 or something.
And then they always like vaguely nod like they know where it is.
Oh,
like,
okay, I've been down around that way sometime.
Yeah, I think I've been through there. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'll just go ahead and bonus my worst thing, because I think I have one more thing I forgot to say. One last thing about a bad thing about living in a butthole town is that I think you limit yourself. It's very easy to limit yourself. We kind of talked about this because of people just like, only being able to be a farmer or being able to be a teacher or whatever that's available. Yeah. And I think a lot of times it's just like, oh, well, what can I be and still stay here? And there's not a lot of options you can pursue.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
And so I think sometimes people just they don't necessarily go their full potential because they just are trying to stay at home.
Yeah.
So yeah.
My last thing. Oh, you gonna say something?
No, I'm good.
Okay. My last thing is far too much emphasis is placed on how much you can drink.
That is like the totem pole of importance. It's like, how much can you drink? It's not even, I feel like in other cities it might be like, how much money do you make? But here it's just like, how much do you drink?
Yeah, it's like, how much can you consume before you pass out? That is the measure of your wealth. Or
you might be the mayor or the sheriff.
You can do an entire gallon of vodka. Yeah, you're definitely going to be high up in our political system.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I can see that. I mean, yeah. I mean, I can definitely see, maybe not being a political figure, but I can see being the most popular kid in high school. Definitely.
Oh yeah, for sure. Without a doubt.
Yeah, you definitely will be invited to every party if you could drink a whole lot.
That's one of those times when your life clock is running down a lot quicker.
Yeah, you look at your wrist and it's just going down hour by hour every sip. So you need to like
for sure.
Just stop there, buddy. Yeah. You'll be the mayor for a day. So was that your last bad thing?
Yeah, that was my last bad thing.
Okay, so we have one more top 20 countdown we want to run through since we
This
are...
one will be a little bit quicker since there's
Okay, yeah,
less back and forth.
This
probably.
one will be a little shorter. We are going to be talking about the top 20 items you need to survive a butthole town. And I literally just came up with these 10 items before we started the podcast.
Yeah, because Ben doesn't prep for this like he should.
do prep. I care about things I didn't know. Sorry, but I think mine are pretty good. So, but I'll let Joel... What, did you start the last one? Right?
Yes, I did.
Okay, so now I'll start this one. And I'll start very basic. This is a number one. This is a basic thing that you will need to survive a butthole town, and that's a pickup truck. You can't be driving around in a Taurus or a Ford Focus and get respect. You need to be driving at least, honestly, you'd be nice being like me and drive a 90s era pickup truck because people are going to respect you a little more.
But if you do have to drive something newer, at least make sure it's at least 4 foot off of the ground.
Yeah, it has to be lifted
and it has to have mud tires on it.
Because who needs to drive on a regular road when you can drive in just straight up mud?
Exactly. But you got to keep the truck clean. So
you need, whether or not you have tools on you, toolbox necessary.
Oh yeah, of course.
Maybe even the double toolbox on the side. You know what I'm talking about?
That depends. You might actually have tools if you do that, but
no, those are just where you keep the
That's where you keep the smaller versions of your truck.
You keep model versions of your truck in there just to show off. If you're not with your truck, you can take out the model and bring it to show people.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would definitely say a pickup truck is number one on that list. Joel, number
so mine's pretty basic too. Of course you have to have a gun.
Yeah.
If you don't own a gun, you're not a person down there. Like you have no worth as a human being without a gun.
And I actually said something about that, but I'm gonna leave mine because mine's a little more specific than yours. So I'll go on to my next third one. A big belt buckle. You can't just have a normal belt buckle on your belt. This needs to be one that maybe you got at the county fair for a nice show hog or a show cow. It's large. It's bedazzly. And
it's got to be silver and gold.
You can choose to show it off or not show it off. You can put your shirt over it if you want.
But you got to make sure the shirt is tight enough to see the imprint.
Yeah, we can see the outline of it.
Right.
And we can tell what you're repping under there.
We know you're packing.
And then you can also tell that maybe like the initials of the person are on the actual leather of the belt. And then the belt buckle itself is maybe an award of sorts. But I would say that you would probably have it wood burned or leather burned, into the belt, your initials of your name.
And the Dixie flag, and maybe a deer or something.
Just throw
like
that Dixie flag in there. Or the Dixie flag is kind of like a period to a sentence in the South, so I would just put that at the end of wherever on that loop of the belt. Maybe throw it on the pocket of your T-shirt, on your back pocket where your wallet goes. I would just imprint that. I would maybe, if you move to the South, maybe just get in contact with your local seamstress and get as many Dixie flags as you can on all your clothing.
The epitome of racism.
just to make sure you fit in. I wouldn't. It's not racist.
Oh, that's definitely a debate.
Oh, it can be. Yes, it definitely. It ignites some thoughts.
It ignites feelings in people that they themselves do not even understand.
It ignites some negative thoughts. You're next, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No. Wait,
what did you
say?
Mine was the last, the belt buckle, so you're next.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's a dip can. But there's a caveat to that. You don't actually have to have a dip can, but you definitely have to have the ring in your back pocket from where you had it.
Right. It's the imprint in that back pocket where it used to be, and it just lets people know that you're part of this group. You're here.
You take your chewing tobacco seriously.
Yeah, and you're a friend. And you don't go anywhere without your chewing tobacco. Obviously, now you don't have it, but you're probably at church or at a nice fancy dinner if you don't have it in the back pocket.
But they know.
Yeah. And then you also, and I'll add to this, if you have that can and you pull it out, you better do that nice little thumb smacking thing.
Oh, you got to do the 2-finger smack, like the smack twice. Tap,
two fingers.
Then you're good.
And then open that thing, throw it in the pocket of your bottom lip, and you're good to go. My next thing, and this is is it 5 now we're at?
3.
Really? 4 or 5, actually, I think it's, because I did 2 and you've done 2.
Oh, okay, if you're doing it like that. Like, I'm on 3 on my list.
Okay, yeah, I was just talking about total 20.
Yeah, okay. Total 5. Yeah.
My next thing is one of those cassette converters for your iPod to play, because we all know you're more than likely, if you're rich, maybe you'll have a new truck, but more than likely you have an older truck or car, and you're gonna have to have one of those cassette converters to play your iPod in the car. Right. It's basically a cassette tape that goes in a cassette player and it connects to your iPod. It's not a great signal. You have to go through the radio, I think. I think that's how it works.
Yeah,
it
does a lot of things that aren't good.
It's fuzzy, but because, you drive that 1995 Chevy Cheyenne, you're going to have to use that unless you install a new radio, and that's going to be next Christmas that you get that. So,
my next one is, of course, you got to have a ball cap.
That's a basic,
that's
but
just
it's
given.
A true thing. Yeah, you got to have a ball cap, and then also your hair has to be molded like that ball cap once you take it off.
Oh yeah,
So on Sundays when you go to church, your hair is just in a constant state of ball cap. It looks like you're still wearing the hat.
Right.
Yeah, it's not a great thing, but I think girls actually are fond of it in our town. I assume it seems like it. My next thing would be boiled peanuts. I think boiled peanuts are a staple in the South. A lot of people in the North probably don't even know what they are. They're boiled
delicious
peanuts.
Though. What is that? I'm a full endorser of boiled peanuts.
I'm actually slightly allergic to peanuts, so I can't tear those up. But when I see them, I will.
You can't tear those up because they'll tear you up. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, basically. But I will eat a lot of them, and then I'll suffer the consequences later.
Worth it.
I'll volunteer to suffer those consequences.
My next one is, you might just need a Game Boy because you'll probably be a little bit bored.
Especially when you're in the deer stand, you don't see anything. You might want to pull out that Game Boy, play a little Mario.
But make sure your volume's down, please.
Yeah, you don't want to frighten any big animals. My next thing is a crappy internet connection. I firsthand know this struggle. When you're in the South, it's hard to get, unless you have some like HughesNet or something like that. It's gonna be hard to pick up some quality internet out there.
Dude, we get so many pieces of junk mail for HughesNet. It's insane. It's literally like once a month.
They market to the southern audience. But
it's so expensive.
Out in the sticks. Yeah, I know.
It's like $75 a month, and it's
who can afford that?
4
Brian
megabit
Kemp?
Up, 3 megabit down. It was awful.
I bet Brian Kemp has HughesNet. Next.
I said some low dose aspirin because you're likely to have a heart attack from all of the fried food.
Once you take one visit to that Georgia State Fair, or the Georgia National Fair,
you're going to have to get on an aspirin regimen.
Yeah,
that's just all there is to it.
I think one visit to the Georgia National Fair will maybe take off 3 or 4 years of your life. And I've been there every year of my life, so
we'll see if you make it to your next birthday.
See if I make it at the end of this podcast. My next thing is a tendency to get dirty, and I mean like get mud on you, not like dirty like sexually, but get dirty like
nobody was thinking that, Ben.
Oh, I'm sorry. I just wanted to be clear because if I just said a tendency to get dirty, I have to be clear. So
the dirty South. I mean.
Yeah. So I just think like not even just in your truck to get mud on you, but just like, you see a puddle on your way to school, you might jump in it. It's typical because you're wearing those Georgia boots. You got the nice boot cut jeans on. You don't necessarily care about what happens to them. You just know you're ready to party. You're ready to have fun.
You're ready to get down and dirty.
Yeah. Next.
Mine's kind of related to that. My next one is you need a good strong rope because you never know when you have to pull your friend out of the bog or lasso a cow.
I was worried where that was going, but I'm glad that that's the angle you went. Okay, my next thing is a gun behind the seat of your truck.
Yes.
I know you said gun earlier, but I would say specifically a gun behind the seat of your truck.
It's got to be in a gun rack, yeah.
It's just always there. And, if you leave it in the truck when you go to school in the parking lot, you might get in a little bit of trouble, but if you're cool with the school principal, you'll be fine. And I think it's just a nice place to keep it because you never know when you want to, pull it out.
Right. You never know when you'll have to shoot a deer off the side of the road.
Or at night when you're shining a bright light in their face.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
You also need a high tolerance for alcohol, which we've already kind of touched on.
Wait, is that your next thing, or?
Yeah, that's my next thing.
Okay, yeah, we've kind of touched on that, but okay, yeah, I would agree.
Because there's no way you make it without a high tolerance for alcohol.
My next thing is a tendency to just hang out in grocery store parking lots. Not really a big reason behind this. It's just like you don't have a lot of options where to park your truck and just hang out, so you just park it in the supermarket parking lot. Maybe just invite a few friends over, have a few maybe natty lights, show off the guns behind your seats. I don't know
Well, that actually gets to my next point.
Okay,
you have to have a minimum of a 12-pack of Natty Ice, or Bud if you're really going out on the town.
Natty Ice is
natural ice. It's the cheapest of the cheap of beers.
It's really, really cheap, yeah, and not. I've never tried it, but I would assume it's not great. But it's just what you can afford on that high school student budget. Buying from your uncle. And my last.
Wait, you're on 10?
I think it's my last thing.
I got 2 more. How did that happen?
I ran down my list. I swear I've done 10.
All right.
I'll let you do 2 more because I did 2 more in the first one. So, my last one is parents that are powerful enough in the county to get you out of trouble.
Oh yeah.
So you definitely, if you do get in trouble drinking that Natty Ice in the grocery store parking lot, if you got some folks that know the sheriff, that's helpful.
Well, too, as long as you know somebody that knows somebody who works for the sheriff's department, you're probably all right. And because there's only about 6 people in the town, what are they really gonna do?
If your cousin's sister-in-law knows the sheriff pretty well, you probably can pull a few strings.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
So different angle or different direction with this is you definitely need a boot scrubber because your mama ain't letting you into the house with those nasty boots. Those Georgia boots, you got to be ready to get dirty, but you got to be ready to clean them off.
That's true. That is a bit of a different angle, but I agree. And also, I don't even own a pair of Georgia boots, but I have. There's a boot scrubber. It used to be outside of my parents' house, so like you have
It's just ingrained in the culture.
Yeah, there's too much that classic Georgia red clay around to let that drag into the house. You got to scrub it off before you go inside. I get that. Yeah.
And the number one thing that you must have for the South is a hat hook for spontaneous fishing.
Just throw that fish hook on your the bill of your hat, and you know what? Speaking of hats, I just realized the one I skipped, and this is a hat with the state of Georgia outlined on it.
Oh my gosh, dude! We could do an entire rant.
Just so people don't forget where you're from, just put it on the front of your hat. And maybe so you don't forget where you're from. It's like, where am I from? Pull off the hat, look at it. Oh, Georgia. Right. Yes.
You know what's even worse than that? These hats are like $35, and they are stupid simple hats.
Well, it's a way to always keep Georgia on your mind. Oh! Man.
That was good.
Bazinga. Yeah.
That was good.
That was hot. Whew, I think we should just move on after that one. That was
that was a good way to end that.
Yeah. So do you have something to talk about? You told me earlier that you have some things you want to get off your chest.
All right. So yes, I do have something to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I feel like every time we do a rant on this podcast, it's about Instagram. I guess it's just a hate-filled place that
it's the most problematic social media platform
right now. Yeah. I mean, because nobody's on Facebook.
Except your mom.
Okay. My thing is all this stuff. I don't mean to pick on the ladies, but all this stuff females are always trying to sell on Instagram.
Right.
And this is right around prom season. It's prom season has just passed.
Yes. I agree. Yes.
And yes, I'm glad you agree with me on a fact that is not debatable.
Yeah.
And all of these girls from our town, our small town, were doing these things where they were trying to get girls to let them do their makeup. Mm-hmm. They were like, they'd have like a picture of a girl and she'd have her makeup done and all this stuff and be like, DM for prices. It's like, okay, first of all, the model you just had in this picture, she looked like a straight clown, dog. Like, nothing about the makeup you just did looks good.
This wasn't the best option for you to pick for this. Why did
and
you
I
choose
swear,
this
all
picture?
of them look the same. Like, I can't tell the difference between any of them. And not giving away too much here, but I watch quite a lot of makeup tutorials on Instagram because I'm a fan of it as an art form.
What the
and what they're
heck?
not doing, we'll get to that later.
Yeah,
What
we
they're
can talk
doing
about
is
that.
definitely not a masterpiece.
No, yeah, I agree with that statement. I've seen some of these girls that post this, and I guess it's just like they're really not wanting to get a summer job. So they're like,
I gotta
'cause
make all this money off of
like,
these vulnerable girls thinking that
girls-
this is gonna be the night of their lives.
girls, I've been there. Like, I know how it is when you don't want to work. Like, I understand, but I don't think this is maybe the best way to go about it, and maybe the best avenue for you especially the girls that don't really wear makeup themselves that do this. They don't wear a lot of makeup themselves, or maybe not even wear a lot of makeup themselves, but they never wear like prom makeup themselves. So it's like, how do you know how to do this?
Exactly. It's like, you
how
literally
would
just
you
went to
know?
Walmart and bought a palette for this. You don't know how to use this. Sorry.
She's watching the YouTube tutorial like while she's doing it. It's
Right.
like,
It's like, do you not
wait.
already know how to do
She's
this?
like, are you gonna finish this? Oh, wait a second, I got an ad, and I'll finish you up real quick after this ad's finished.
Stupid mid-roll ads.
But makeup isn't the only thing that girls try to sell on Instagram. There's a girl from our town that I saw. This one makes me laugh so hard because
Okay, all right.
the caption of it. I'll just read the caption because this girl definitely doesn't listen to our podcast. So she says, "My new blue ocean towel from whatever company is so soft that it doubles as a pretty comfy blanket. Grab one of your own and use the code HERNAME25 for 25% of your whole order." She's literally trying to sell an ocean towel, and she's wrapped up in it. She's wrapped up in it like a blanket. It's just a beach towel, and it's like, I feel like these girls from these small towns get a couple thousand followers on Instagram, and then they become like commercials.
Yeah, you're not Kim Kardashian. Chill with that crap. Like, nobody, nobody cares.
None of your friends are gonna buy a beach towel.
What do you think this is, a Tupperware show? I mean, come on.
25% isn't that great a deal.
No.
Yeah, come on. The thing's
Especially
like
when the stupid
$100.
Exactly. That's what I was saying. Especially when the stuff is like super overpriced.
Yeah, and it's probably one of those things where she didn't have to get like an exclusive deal from the company. She just literally bought one herself, and they were like, "Okay, hey, use your name and get a deal for the next person you recommend."
Exactly. Yeah. It's like, how much money are they getting from this realistically? Maybe $5 for each one they sell or something stupid low like that.
And
Like,
they're
you know,
like,
they're not making much money off of it.
We'll send you a beach towel if you get 4 of your friends to buy a beach towel. Does that sound like a good deal?
And if they sign up 4 people, then they buy 4
They
beach
sign up
towels.
4 people. Maybe
What-
the shape of this is almost pyramid-like, actually.
But it's not a pyramid scheme.
No, it's not a pyramid scheme. This is a friendship bracket. It's called a friendship bracket. You create more friends, and those friends create more friends. Do you get that?
Exactly.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah, totally.
Another thing I see a lot of that they're trying to sell are these like all natural beauty products.
Oh my gosh, the freaking Avon ladies on Facebook kill it. And there's a lady at my church that actually sells Avon, and I think my mom buys stuff from her. It's like these Avon representatives, dude. They make money.
Yeah, I mean, they can do pretty
I
well.
don't know the cut that they take from selling like lotions and stuff from this company. Like, I don't know how much they actually make themselves.
If you sell $500,000 worth of lotion a year, we'll give you $10.
No, it's not even a money thing. It's like you could have the chance to win a trip to Aruba if you sell.
We'll give you a trial size sample of everything you sell.
We'll give you friends. We will literally give you friends.
And if those friends make 4 friends, and they make 4 friends,
We will
It's a
sell you a
friendship bracket.
We'll sell you a bracket of friends.
we start betting on the brackets like they do for the NCAA tournaments in March. It's like, whoever wins this bracket gets $1 million.
Whoever wins this bracket gets 4 cans of lotion.
4 cans of lotion.
Cans.
You got lotion by the can.
That's funnier than anything we've said so far. Cans of lotion.
Canned lotion.
Can you imagine? It's just like, oh, I thought this was a can of Coke. No, that's just my lotion in the fridge, dog.
I was wondering why it tasted so creamy.
Ew. I thought this milk's gone bad, bro. Wait, you drink milk by the can? Wait a second. It's starting a whole new thing. Milk
This
by the
podcast
can.
is becoming a mess.
Dude, I can't imagine canned milk. Ugh.
There goes another 10 minutes off of your life clock.
And you buy it from like vending machines. There's 20 more minutes.
Oh,
Canned milk right under the Mountain Dew in the vending machine. Ugh. It's been in there for how many days has this canned milk been in this vending machine?
how many days are in 36 hours?
It's okay. We put ice in the cans before we can them up, so like, that milk should be fine and cold. I wouldn't worry about it. Oh. I'm sorry this podcast just became something different, but like I just want to make one more comment about that milk. Man, can you imagine ice and milk? That is messed up. Oh.
Dude, okay, that's another thing my crazy Colombians do. Throwback to the last episode.
Yeah,
they
last
drink
episode.
milk, but they put ice in the glass first.
That's so weird.
Don't do that, people. Just don't.
Watered down milk? Ugh, why don't you just buy, do they buy whole? Then it just becomes 2%. If they buy 2%, it becomes like 6%. I don't know. It just becomes less percentage.
It becomes 6% milk.
Do you guys drink 8% milk? Yeah, it's really watery. Yeah, pretty much just like white water.
Isn't there a quote by Ron Swanson
About
where
milk?
he says, "There's only one thing I hate more than lying: skim milk, which is water that's lying about being milk." That's a perfect quote for the situation.
So they literally are making skim milk.
I guess so, but I can't.
Colombian skim milk. Oh, I bet that's what they think is whole milk, or that's what they think is 2%. Can you imagine what Colombians think whole milk is? It's just literally like cream over and
You
super
literally
buttery.
comes out of the other end of your glass.
Oh, this is whole milk. This is Colombian. This is Colombia.
What is that accent?
I don't know. It's just a dramatic accent. This is Colombia. Yeah. I don't really know like what a Colombian accent entails. So
It's just Hispanic, pretty much.
Yeah, well, I'm not good at that, and I don't.
No,
wanna be,
and
like,
you don't want to be racist.
Yeah, I don't want to be stereotypically racist about it.
Your accent's not my culture.
Speaking of stereotypically racist, let's talk about Brian Kemp for the Screw Up of the Week, everybody. Let's go.
Boy, what a transition, right?
If you guys didn't hear the last episode, a guy named Brian Kemp is running for governor of Georgia.
And if you're listening to this after the elections and he wins, we mean no means of defamation towards Brian Kemp, and we support our government, but not him, maybe. I don't know.
We just support our government.
We didn't read
concept of
anything
our
about
government.
this guy. All we've seen is his ads.
All I've seen is his videos, yeah. And, I mean, like, he's a conservative. He's a Republican candidate, obviously. From these videos, he's the ultimate conservative. This guy's, like, extreme conservative. That's kind of like an oxymoron, actually. Extreme conservative.
Yeah, that is. Would you look
Actually,
at that?
the title of this video on his page that I was going to talk about today is "So Conservative," is the name of it.
Oh, that's literally the name of it?
Yeah,
I thought you
so-
were describing the name of it was so conservative.
No, yeah, the name of the video is "So Conservative."
So conservative.
So conservative. The last video we talked about was the one where he has a kid on and
At
he's got a gun.
gunpoint.
At gunpoint. He's interested in one of his daughters, but he has him at gunpoint, and then the kid like lists off his policies, and he's like, "You're right."
I just watched that again today just for kicks because it's so funny.
Well, am I right in the sense that like he does list off his policies?
Yeah, that's all he does.
Okay, yeah, and he's just like,
He's like,
is
he wanted to date one of my daughters. So what's my policies? Sir, those things aren't related. What's my policies, boy?
It doesn't matter if you like my daughter for her personality or her body. Just let me know what my policies are. Oh my gosh. Anyways, his newest video is So Conservative. He is he's in a variety of locations. He starts off by saying, I don't know if you guys heard that. It played through my headphones. But he said, I don't know if that played through the speakers. I hope it did, but it just said, I'm Brian Kemp. Maybe it didn't pick up, but anyways, it's Brian Kemp. And he starts it off, and he starts saying some relatively like
cheesy,
kind of cheesy things. He starts it off by saying, I'm so conservative, I own guns that no one's taken away. My chainsaw is ready to rip up some regulations. And it builds up to, I got a big truck, just in case I need to round up criminal illegals and take them home myself. And that's the epitome of this video. What'd you say?
He sounds like a wrestler's walk-in. He's got his chainsaw and ready to rip up policies.
Brian Kemp! Ready to rip up those regulations. Coming at 180 pounds, wearing a flannel shirt and Georgia boots. Brian Kemp!
Either that or like a used car salesman. We got trucks that's ready to haul back the illegals.
We're gonna chainsaw through those prices. No, but the big line that people are relatively, I think, upset about is that, yeah, he says, I got a big truck just in case I need to round up criminal illegals and take them home myself. And then right after he says that, he literally says this, I just said that. Yeah, I just said that. Like, he had to make sure that, like, you weren't, like, confused on how
as if you weren't appalled
is.
enough. Let's make sure you understand that I do not care what I just said.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, this truck isn't a rental. I own it. This is my truck.
This is my land.
But, I mean, like, I'm a conservative, but it's just a little much. It's just
he's
a little
become a meme.
far. Yeah, he's piggybacking on the Trump thing, and I get it. Like, he's saying things that are wild and outlandish, and that's cool. But I don't know.
That's not cool.
I mean, like, it's not cool, but it's cool. Like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I'm not affected by you saying crazy stuff. Like, do what you want, Brian. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
but don't expect us to support you saying that crazy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think it honestly plays on the fact that Southerners are dumb. I hate to say this, but that's kind of what he's playing on, like how dumb these Southern people are. They're just like, yeah, you're right, Brian.
So this is kind of becoming a little bit of a political discussion other than just goofing on him. But
well, that's fine.
A lot of my kinfolk, if I can say it so countrily, they're heavily conservative, which I'm conservative as well. I lean towards conservative, libertarian, whatever. But some of them are racist because we're from the South. I mean, it's a thing. But even they were like, yeah, this dude just makes us look like all a bunch of hicks. Ain't no way I'm voting for him. So I think it's actually having a bad effect on people because, like, people I would have really thought would have voted for him are like, yeah, he's such a hick. Like, he's bad representation of us.
And
like,
I don't...
that's going to bite him.
And I don't think him necessarily is a hick. I think he's just playing to that market of
right.
hick. And, like, I think he's playing to the market of people that are not super educated on policies.
Right.
Or super educated on, like, how things work and what is, correct to say.
Well, another thing, too, is, like, he's trying to play to the really country market, right?
Right.
But he does realize that the illegal immigrants, as racist as it may sound, it's just truth, they do most of the farm work that has to be done by hand. Like, that's just a fact. And in a small town in Georgia, that's what happens. It's like, no, we're not going to send back all the illegals. Then we wouldn't have anybody to work in the fields. Well, and most of those people get paid well. Like, it's not slave labor by any means. It's just a fact that that's the work that they do when they come here.
Yeah, I think the thing that kind of always, like, makes me kind of chuckle is the fact that, like, all these Americans are always like, man, we got to get these illegals out of here because they're taking our jobs. But it's like, none of you guys are even willing to do their jobs.
Exactly.
That they're doing. Oh, my
exactly.
gosh. It's like, they're not taking your job because you weren't doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't get it. But you go ahead. No, you go ahead.
I was just going to say, what was his tagline at the end of that video? Wasn't it something like, if you need or if you want a politically incorrect conservative or whatever, it's like, I'm him. Like, come on, dude.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, that's the tagline at the end of that video.
Okay. I'm at the video. It says, if you want a politically incorrect conservative, that's me. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, but you're doing a good job of marketing that, but you're doing a terrible job of marketing yourself as a qualified leader.
It's almost like, man, you're really pushing yourself being politically incorrect, but like, what's your policies? Like, you know what I mean? It's like,
right.
We don't even know what you stand for.
All we know is
controversial.
You support guns, obviously, because you pointed one at a kid, because that's what what like good gun owners do. They point weapons at children.
Yeah, we support that. Yeah.
And then you want to just deport all the illegals. Do you know how much gas that would cost, Brian Kemp? I'm not paying all that taxpayer money for your stupid gas to get to Mexico.
Yeah, somebody commented on this post and said, "This isn't a game. If you use your public responsibility to create divisions by thumbing your nose at decency, then shame on you."
Wow.
Which,
well put.
I mean, it makes a point. It's just like, why even bring the whole legal thing into it? Like, what's that got to do with it? Once you are governor of the state of Georgia, are you saying that you're gonna be the one taking illegals out as the governor of Georgia?
Yeah, right.
I don't think so. It's like, you're not president, dude.
And even the president wouldn't do that.
Yeah, even the president can't do that. So why would the governor of Georgia be like, yeah, get these illegals in the back of my truck? I'm the governor of Georgia.
It's just so stupid on so many levels. And the way he does the whole thing is super cringy. The edits are bad. Like,
yeah, and does he think as the governor of Georgia also that he's going to have control of, like, gun control and stuff? I don't know. It's just like, there's a lot of big, broad, like, things that, like, he can't change.
No. It's like, so you're going to change the Second Amendment? I don't... You're gonna I guess he's trying to protect the Second Amendment, but like, what can you do at a state level that's gonna affect the national government? Not much.
How's he gonna protect it? Just hold he's gonna just hold more kids at gunpoint? I will hold 80 kids at gunpoint until everyone can use guns the way that I want them to. Yeah. If you're looking for he says in his description, if you're looking for a career politician who will bow to the special interests and compromise with the left, there are other candidates for governor on the ballot. I like that he's actually promoting other governors on the ballot. He's like, yeah, there's other candidates that are probably better.
If you want somebody who's reasonable and sensible and doesn't point guns at children, there's plenty of those people on the ballot. That's not me.
Yeah, if you'd like to maybe look into more special interests or maybe even, think about more important policies, maybe check out other governor candidates. I don't know. If you want to
like vote for equality or like equal pay or anything like that.
What is it? And this is me being maybe dumb. I was going to ask you because you know more about this than I do. What does it mean when it says a career politician who will bow to the special interests? What are special interests?
So I'm sure as an extremely right conservative, he's talking about like the LGBT community.
Okay, that's a special interest. Okay, I didn't know what that meant.
Well, it's a special interest community or whatever, or like.
Okay.
Like, or gun control people, like those kind of like hot button minority issues type deals.
Okay,
that kind of thing.
Now I get it. Okay, so he's saying but yeah, it's just like, I don't know what they're going to do other than he might vote against certain policies, but it's like, man, that one governor vote.
The thing about it is he can't vote for national policies, which is all the stuff he's lifting off. Like, the things he's claiming to do as policies aren't even things he can control.
Do governors have like a vote in certain national policies? Like, do all of them like vote on certain things? I don't know necessarily the aspects of what a governor does.
No.
So they don't have
any government. They don't do national stuff.
They never go into any kind of national discussion of policies.
I can look it up right now. Governor?
I don't think so either. I just wasn't sure if like maybe there were like their vote was cast with other governors and that, because if that's the case, his point makes more sense. But if it doesn't, then it's just like, Brian, what are you talking about? I don't know.
Exactly.
Yeah, Brian, this is just not what you should be worried about.
So, Brian, okay, let me just say this.
Okay.
If there's anybody who wants a racist, gun-pointing, politically incorrect governor for the state of Georgia, vote for Brian Kemp. And if you want somebody who's reasonable and not crazy, vote for anybody else.
Yeah, he literally promoted them in his post. There's other candidates for that are running for governor.
He wants you to exercise your right to vote, and that's what really counts.
Yeah, at least he's saying that. There's other governors out there that are probably better than me, but if you want one that doesn't care about things, check me out. Because I think his tagline should be like, if you want a governor that, maybe isn't the best, that's me.
Brian Kemp, 2018.
Maybe not the best. Brian Kemp. You could make a better decision, Brian Kemp.
There are 8 other people on the ballot. Brian Kemp.
So did you figure out if governors voted for anything?
Not that I could find on a quick Google search.
Okay.
But, yeah, I don't think so.
So it's probably more state level, like, decision-making things. Because the things that our governor has changed in the state of Georgia are they're smaller things. But, I mean, we've had a few things that have changed because of, like, certain things the governor has done.
Nothing, like, crazy.
Well, isn't this is a very new policy in Georgia. Isn't the new policy with having your phone driving, isn't that a governor thing?
Well, he would have to sign off on it, yeah, but it's not like he created the bill or anything like that. That's the governor's job. He just signs off on bills. Well, I mean, yeah. I know it's more than that, but...
Right. But recently, the Georgia governor has signed off on a bill that doesn't allow for cell phones to be even held in a car while you're driving. You have to,
right. Yeah.
You can't have them in your hand. So that's a policy that they can enforce. I don't think it's anything big as like taking away your guns or
no.
There's no like literally like amendment that they're changing.
Right. Exactly.
It's just one of those things where it's like I don't think any of these amendments are like being under attack. That's one thing I don't like when these like politicians sensationalize that like there's the certain things being under attack, and it's like it's not. It's fine right now. Like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Like there's people against it, sure, but like it's not changing anytime soon.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's the whole thing is if you give an inch, you give a mile, that kind of deal. It's like, yeah, that's not how compromise works.
Yeah. I feel like we got really political.
Yeah, we really did. I'm just going to cut all of that out.
Neither one of us know like really anything about politics, so I really wouldn't take any of our, take our opinions with a grain of salt.
Yeah. Just vote for Brian Kemp if you want. If you don't want to, that's good too.
I mean, the guy
We're
might
not
be
telling you how to vote.
The guy might be a great governor, and just his social media presence is just terrible. I don't know. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you can never tell.
His marketing people could just be like, Brian, you got to do this. And Brian's just like, I just want to talk more about state parks.
I want to talk about government spending.
He's like actually trying to talk about stuff, and they're just like, Brian, hold this gun. Explode this house. They're going to love it. He's just like, oh, gosh, I wish I would have ran for governor of Vermont.
Oh, well, with that, everybody, welcome back to episode number 20, the big 2-0 of the Butthole Town podcast. It's over.
Guys, don't forget to wipe. Don't forget to not do drugs. And don't forget to maybe befriend one of your friends so they can find 4 friends. And those friends can find 4 more friends. And you can have your own friendship bracket. Because, it's really what it comes down to is having more friends. Because once you have more friends, those friends can have more friends. And those, friends can have more friends.
All right, everybody.
It's not a pyramid scheme.